Okay, so just another quick video. This is for our accountability session for March 2014. This is metabolic guidelines. I need to whiz through this really quickly because there's a lot of information in here, so I'll try and get as much in as I can, but just email me if you need to. The most important thing that I've been picking up the last couple of months is that there's a lot of people kind of mixing up their nutrition plans, so you need to think about you can't have a bit of Weight Watchers and a bit of Slimming World and a bit of Atkins diet and a bit of metabolic and a little bit of whatever you fancy and expect to get results. You've got to be consistent. The metabolic effect has been written by a biochemist. It's based on sound chemistry, biochemistry, and it works if you FTDI, which is my favourite saying, which is follow the damn instructions. So you really need to kind of make sure that you're following the one thing and get all the other stuff that you've learned out of your head. It's completely different, and for one reason is that it works. Okay, just going into a couple of pictures here to try and explain how fat loss and weight loss are different. This couple of pictures on the left here show very slender ladies, but clearly very, very little muscle tone, what they would call skinny fat, so a higher proportion of body fat than you would expect. Whereas the lady on the right hand side is obviously following a fat loss program, very, very lean, very little body fat, and obviously considerably stronger than the person or the persons on the left hand side. Just as kind of physical representation here for you, this obviously at the back here, this yellow part is the fat and the bit at the front is muscle. So whilst they weigh both 5 pounds, you can see that the fat is considerably larger and clearly not toned. It's very, very jelly-like, which will explain to you why you can have two people who weigh completely different amounts, but the one that's heavier actually looks very much leaner and more toned. And if we just go, this picture goes around the internet all the time, so you can see here the difference in weight between these two starts. So you can see that although she's very slim on the left, she's got more body fat than she has on the right hand side, and she's actually put on a stone in those three pictures, but looks much, much leaner, lost a good few inches of her waist and hips and clearly on her thighs, and generally just looks better. So this is what we say. The scales don't always tell the true story, so you need to make sure you're taking various measurements to get a true representation of what's actually happening during your fat loss journey. Weight loss is very much about eating less and moving more, very old-fashioned. The chemistry is quite complex. It's all down, a lot of it is down in your book, and we've discussed this before. So it's not necessarily fat loss. You could be losing water and muscle. Steady state cardio, lots of aerobic exercises, you know, kind of running and cross trainer and that kind of stuff can actually compound the effect, which can lead to additional muscle loss. So you've got to have a good program. And therefore weight loss doesn't support the development of muscle tone, which we've just shown you in those pictures before. The reduction in muscle actually decreases the amount of your basal metabolic rate, which means that you're burning less calories on a daily basis, making it harder to maintain weight loss. So this is where you get caught in this yo-yo trap. You lose the weight, but you've lost muscle. You go back to eating properly. Your body is now no longer functioning at the rate that it was before, so you can eat less before you start putting on weight. And these people get stuck in this trap over and over again on this kind of little wheel. Fat loss, however, is about eating the right foods and doing the right exercise. It's not about calories, but rather the type that we eat. So whether we're eating 300 calories worth of donut or 300 calories worth of chicken. Fat loss encourages the growth of lean muscle tissue if you're exercising and eating right, which may increase our weight, but it will increase our BMR, and obviously will change the way that we look. A fat loss diet also promotes regulation of blood sugar levels, so it's fantastic for diabetics, and it helps to control cravings and increase your energy. So hormones versus calories. To be successful, you must take time to understand the whys, which is why I nag you all the time, guys, to read your books. It should be your little Bible. And the Metabolic Blog do amazing webinars and stuff on their pages, so please go take a look. We've got a lot of people that start on the Monday diets, or they try a bit of everything diet, or they'll eat what they like and then they'll starve the following day diet, and it's not really conducive to kind of getting results. So a lot of these people will start with a small bowl of cereal for their breakfast, get to work, maybe have a coffee and a piece of fruit to see them through to their lunchtime, which is just an empty salad, nothing in it. They get home, they're absolutely starving, they've got cravings that are going through the roof, they feel lethargic and they literally eat everything they can get their hands on before they go to bed, feel like rubbish, wake up not feeling great, and the whole cycle begins again. Okay, so this is what we were just talking about before, about the difference between the fat loss and the weight loss. Our donut is what we would call a weight loss food because you can eat it. It's got the same amount of calories as this piece of chicken here, But if you look at the most important components in the bottom here, we've got in the donut, we've got a high proportion of fat with the carbs, which is an absolute fat time bomb for you. Very little protein, so it doesn't fill you up. Chicken, on the other hand, much lower in carbs compared to the donut. Huge proportion of protein, which is very satiating, has a very positive impact on your hormone balance in your body, and will actually continue to make you sort of propel you to make good choices through the rest of the day, and that's been scientifically proven. Lots of healthy foods in the market are highly processed. They say low fat, less sugar, but they're full of artificial goods, they're full of chemicals, they're highly processed, sweeteners and flavours, really not very good for you, not for your body chemistry, not for your brain chemistry. For some people, fruits can act as a carbohydrate. You can be very sensitive to them, so we would recommend for most people just to veer away from the high sugar fruits anyway. And for some people, even the less sweet fruits can be an issue, but we go through protocols to find that out. And then we've got our whole grain cereals and bread, which again can be healthy, but not necessarily fat loss. It's all about working out in your journey what works for you and what doesn't. If we quickly take a look at the metabolic dieter, when we say dieter in inverted commas, because it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, we will plan our meals in advance. We never get hungry, and we eat regularly throughout the day. So we might start with an egg-based, protein-based breakfast, if let's say like an omelette. There's protein bars that you can have for snacks, a really good vegetables with chicken or fish or salad, followed by some fruit and nuts, maybe another protein shake depending on what you're doing throughout the day, and finishing on more fish, vegetables. So you can see that there's loads of food, there's a good variety. You don't need to be hungry and you don't need to be bored. You just need to take the time to find out what you want and what you like. Yes, sleep and stress do have calories. They will negatively impact your fat loss journey massively, and it's something that I would recommend that everybody takes time to read about and work out if it's something you need to put into your goals for the month, to find out if it's something you need to address. Because if, with all the best will in the world, if you're eating right and you're exercising correctly, but you're stressed out of your brain and you're getting very poor sleep, your results are not going to be reflected. So you need to take this seriously. Okay, so complex biochemistry. So going back to the sleep and stress, it's not an easy one to go into, but I'm going to try and simplify it. So when you're under stress, this conversation begins between the brain, your pituitary gland, and your adrenals, ultimately resulting in the secretion of adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol. This is evolutionary. This response has been with us since we've been on the earth, okay? And it's a fight or flight, which a lot of you will have heard of. This is a response to stress, and the reason this happens is because it increases your blood, increased blood and fat released into the, increased sugar and fat into the blood to provide energy for this fight or flight. Because basically what will happen is you either need to kind of run in the opposite direction or fight it. So what makes it different now? Why is it so important now? Well, once upon a time, our stress would have looked something like this, okay? So we would have completely run to get away from the danger. Nowadays, our stress levels are more to do with traffic jams, work, the poor food that puts a lot of stress on our body, financial worries, family life, all those kind of things. So yes, while it's still stress, what is happening now is the aftermath. So we are not having the hormonal response to afterwards. So we're not doing that big running. We're not kind of fighting for our life. So we're not producing the hormones to counterbalance the ones that we've already got running through the bloodstream. What now happens is we've got long-term and chronic stress, which means we have consistently raised cortisol levels. Now remember before I said we've got raised sugar because it thinks we're going to use it? Well, we don't use it, so we've got extra insulin in the blood to counteract these high levels of sugar. When you put cortisol and insulin together, it's a fat-storing time bomb, okay? And it can also encourage the depletion of muscle in the arms and the legs. So you get these skinny arms and legs and a bigger midsection. I hope I made that quite clear. Sorry about that. So, and getting back to sleep. So sleep is something a little bit different. We can get the same kind of hormones coming along. But ultimately, when you sleep, you're burning fat, you're regenerating your cells, you're slowing the signs of aging, you're allowing your body to restore its hormone balance, so it lowers leptin, insulin, cortisol, and increases our human growth hormone and our testosterone. So we should be waking up hungry in the morning if this is all right. Plus, consistent research shows that those who get quality sleep are thinner, happier, healthier, and more energetic. So you can see it's a massive part of your program. Most of you will have seen this, guys, but this is, I do believe this is called If Animals Ate McDonald's, which you can find on YouTube. I'm not going to play it for you now. So just to recap, you know, stress is massively important because of the impact it has on your body. We need to create the right hormone balance in our bodies because hormones don't act independently. They will act one way with one hormone and another way with another hormone. So what you're putting into your body affects not just the calories, because your calories will not just go in one particular place. Calorie partitioning is a complex study. So please read your book. Any questions, email me at getfit@revolution.co.uk and I'll try and help you out. Thank you for listening.